there's a video I saw, I think it was in 2003 or something. It was called, or I forget what it was, but it just blatantly exposed.
Let me ask you a question if this is it, because I did a video back then to expose this, and this would be wild, but I doubt it is.
Okay.
But it was it called College Conspiracy?
That was one of them.
Because I did that documentary.
Yeah. You did?
That's my documentary, yeah.
Oh, okay, well that just blown my mind right now, because that's you scroll down my Instagram, probably like a year or two ago, I posted that thing. It was with the Burning Flames, right? Yeah, with the
yes.
Yeah, no, for
That's
sure.
That's when I started making, like, really getting into heavily into video. Fire, son.
So
this is it, huh? LIVEFIT, guys. You ready for this? We're about to go on the tour. We're with the millennial game changer himself.
when I first started out, I had plenty of businesses that didn't make it, but I didn't give up. Growing up on the east side of Long Beach, it wasn't easy. Yeah, I failed. I've had setbacks, I didn't have the resources growing up. No investors, no funds to get started. I had to do everything myself. I hustled. At one moment in my life, I was doing so many things at once. I was a full-time student. I was a full-time personal trainer. I ran a t-shirt shop. I was just doing like other small brands and designing stuff on the side. Then I saved up some cash, put $300 into my first batch of LIVEFIT shirts, pushed it out of my trunk. I flipped the money and put it all back in. I didn't cash out. I was living under my means, because I've been through all that. I know what it's like being broke. I kept putting all the profits back into the business. Within 3 years, I made $300 into millions. But in between that time frame, it was a lot of work that I put in, a lot of work that people don't see. I was networking, going out, making moves, planning, marketing, designing, putting out media content, just a bunch of things, connecting, just getting the brand out there. People ask me all the time, if I were to do it again, what would I do differently? Honestly, I wouldn't even change a thing, because all the trials, errors, mistakes, and experience made me who I am today. Some people call it luck. You can call it whatever you want. But the truth is, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. No one has walked a day in my shoes, and that's the type of mindset I have, because when I started, no one really believed in me but myself. At the end of the day, no one else is putting food on the table or paying the bills. I did this on my own, and no handouts.
There's nothing more that I like to see, nothing better than I like to see than an entrepreneur that kind of defied all odds, that kind of grew up similar to me, kind of had odds kind of stacked against them, started from the bottom, had to fight through adversity, really built it, self-made, had to like go through the grind, learn from their mistakes, and then get to a level where like, dude, I feel like you're living the dream, dude. Like when you have, you're like have taken this idea, this passion, and have built an unbelievable company. I mean, it's like we're sitting in like 32,000 square feet, like your company, man. That's like you've built with your team, and it's just like, this is amazing, dude. Like I'm so grateful to be here and to feed off of this, man, because it motivates me, and I know it's motivating all the leaders out there that are watching this, man. So as a first thing, man, just thank you, man, for inviting me into your world, bro. I looked into it, like your family, man, like you came from Cambodia, but like your family was there during the genocide. I really want to kind of hear what that was like, hearing about those stories. Or were you born in Cambodia?
No, I was actually born in Long Beach, in Long Beach, California. But my parents, both my mom and dad, were born there in Cambodia, and they both went through the genocide.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know the history of it. It's an actual like Holocaust. It's probably not taught like outside of Southern California or wherever there isn't much of Cambodian population. But it was a huge genocide where just it was a communist country. The communist side took over and just pretty much killed all educated people, wealthy people, and just ran it literally like a communist country where everyone works, everyone had to eat at a certain time, eat the same amount of food as everybody else. So it was crazy, and there's movies and documentaries out now. One of the movies were The Killing Fields. That was a really good one. If you get a chance to watch The Killing Fields, it sums it up, you know. And I even asked my mom, like, hey, is this like that? She's like, it's exactly like it. So
wow. So you drop out, you're a personal trainer, you're making money, you're doing what you love, and you have this kind of like passion little hobby skate brand on the side. When did you decide to like go all in on the business, on what I guess seemed to be your little passion project?
Yeah, so LIVEFIT was a slogan that I had on my t-shirts that I designed myself for my clients to wear. It was a catchy design. People that
was a hashtag that you used as well, or something, or it was just like on your shirt?
It was just on my shirt. You know, it was never meant to be a clothing line then, and I was still going to school, and then so people started seeing that around the gyms that I trained at too, and they were like, "Hey, let me get a shirt. You know, I'll buy it, whatever, $20. You know, I'm like, all right, cool, but you're not my client. But you're like, oh, but the shirt's cool. All right, cool. Boom, boom, slinging it out of my truck. My trunk of my car. And then it just snowballed then. And then, so now it was personal training. LIVEFIT was growing. I partnered up, dude, I've done so much, it's so hard to sum it up. And I had a t-shirt shop too that I bought into with my buddy Bruce. It was just like, it was in the hood, dude. We made like, we sold pro clubs, like plain white tees. We did custom shirts for like rest in peace shirts and stuff like that. We did just that type of business, you know? So I had I've gained a lot of experience designing and working with customer service, different personalities and stuff there. All these things going on at one time. LIVEFIT was just growing, and it met up with my personal training money, but then the potential can be way over here. Personal training, this is requiring my time right now, you know? So I'm like, all right.
But also you're so personally invested when you have those kind of like those clients as well. So that had to be like tough as well.
It was rough. Luckily at the time too, because my training brand had grew fairly big for a local training community business. I had 2 trainers working for me at the time, you know, that I really trusted, that are still training some of my clients today. So I had to sit down with my client one-on-one. I was like, hey, you know, because they like I said, when you're personal training too, half the stuff we're just having a conversation too while they're resting and stuff. So
it almost becomes like they're
very personal.
Real personal. It's like a barber.
Yeah. So they know.
You talk to them, you say everything. I know.
Exactly. So they knew my whole life, and they knew like the struggle I was going through. But like, all right, I need to cut college out, you know. They really understood. So it wasn't that hard, you know.
They're probably rooting for you.
Yeah. So I, you know, handed them off, and then, you know, got a warehouse.
From that point forward, you were probably like, the fire was lit,
dude. A huge weight lifted off my shoulder, and I was like, I saw clear vision. It was just, it was meant to be. I almost felt like, because all those like 15 years prior experience of just making clothes, learning the whole sales training business, doing retail, doing fitness, I just fucking merged everything. I was like, I'm gonna go fucking 200% in this shit, and then boom, it just fucking took off.
So there's like 2 key points right there that I think the audience really needs to like hone in on, and maybe there's more, you can correct me, but like, one, like over all those years, you almost don't realize in life all the struggle, all the things that you're learning on a day-to-day basis, all the things you're putting yourself in a position, and it's like setting you up, but you almost don't know during those years. You really don't know. Like, you didn't really realize all those, like you were saying, they were stacking up, right? It's like a puzzle. All the puzzle pieces are slowly coming together, and then it's like there's this moment that happens. You know, I like to call that carpe diem moment, that seize the moment, you know, where it's like it all tees you up, and you have to make the choice of all the things that you've been learning for all those years. Like, it's time. And then this is the second part, going all in. You know, there's a point where you have to make that choice that, you know, this is your moment of going 200%, completely all in, because at that point, you become clear. Like, your clarity is like all your focus is clear. Like, everything, all that weight is off your shoulders, and you can just go completely all in. And then that's when you really start to reap the results. So one, you know, even though you may not be where you want to be right now, realize that you're setting yourself up And you have to just appreciate that, the grind and all the, all where you're at and the struggle, because if you don't appreciate that, even though you don't realize it, you'll look back and be like, holy crap, like, I get it now. It was setting me all up for that success, for that one moment to make that choice to say, okay, I got to go all in. And that's the second part that I think you realize that.
Yeah, I swear there needs to be a term for that, because I'm sure you explained that thing to a lot of people. You can't say it, dude. There's got to be an entrepreneur term for this thing.
Yeah.
So we got to make that up and patent it or something.
Right? How important is just culture in general, right? Like, I can feel it just being in your space. Like, the culture of it's so much deeper than just, it's everything, right? So it's like from the actual clothes to like the design of your space and how open it is, to now you have canvases with create, build, network. It's, you live, you breathe it, and the culture goes from the company to you as a personal brand. So kind of talk to me a little bit about that. How'd you learn how to build that culture?
The culture had to come naturally from myself first, and then I can only do so much to rub it off on the guys.
Yeah.
But that's like something that I've just tried to train myself to do.
Lead by example.
Yeah. Like we spoke about it a little bit earlier, off camera. I was talking about when I come into this office, I had to come in with like the greatest attitude, because I have to rub off on these guys like from the get-go. I want everyone to feel the same way I do, or at least vibe the same way.
Energy.
So then that way the company culture just gets created naturally, and all my management guys too. I got to make sure they have that stuff. I take them out, we do cool things, and we just connect, and then they rub it off on their guys, and then we just like to mess around. For example, one time, did you hear about it was on CNN, or when the internet went out, or Shopify went down, PayPal went down, Amazon went down. Yeah. So our business stopped for like 6 hours. I was like, hey guys, ain't nothing to cry about. Like, all right, if everyone's losing, then we're fine. So we got the camera. We just started making this movie. Like we were getting attacked. So I took my Nerf gun. We just started just filming. Everyone's like, oh, going crazy. So we just make
always looking for the best way to look at things, and that positivity.
And we're always having fun, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, I want to keep my guys sane, keep them motivated, keep them like, all right, I want to go to work because it's going to be a different day. It's going to be new. It's going to be fun.
So like, talk to me about that, man. Like, where do you get your creativity? Because your brand is like, it's constant.
Yeah, you're right about that whole 2 years thing. Like, there was a complete just like workaholic thing, finding foundations, logistics of how things work first.
Yeah.
And then once our team finds a comfortable way of doing it, no matter if it's wholesale, customer service, warehouse, or media, once we find that foundation and get used to it, which takes years.
Whoa, stick on that for a second, dude. That's so important, guys. Like, that process you just said is so important, guys.
Logistics is crazy.
Logistics. Once you have that foundation.
Yeah, within each department, you can start building on that. It's like kind of plug and play, like I said before, and it's easier to have fun now because you can have fun knowing the steps, so you're not fucking up the first time.
That's when the accountability kicks in, the responsibility. People understand that process.
Yep.
So like within that first 18 months, those first 2 years, like what Randall had to do was grind it out and help find that team, but put those processes in place and all the things he learned prior of, again, what he talked about, like finding the right manufacturer, figuring out how to design those tees, and figuring out how to really do the logistics, the customer service, the shipping, the packaging, the branding, all of that, like figuring out that process and figuring out the flow of how the team was going to manage that process is like the most important thing for your product and for your company. And once you have that, that's when it really starts to get fun. You're able to become more creative. You start to be able to take more risk, right? And that's kind of like where you're at now, man. You're over 3 years now. So now that you have that foundation, what are some of the things you've learned going into like your third year as a company? What is the difference between like year 1, year 2, and now where you're going into like 3 and 4?
Just execution is a lot shorter, or we can execute really fast, or campaign really quick too as well. The planning is just insane now, because we know, like I sit down because right now as a CEO too, I'm still hands-on. I'm like as a director of media. So when we do a campaign, let's say I sit with my videographer, designers, and then photographer, we speak our language that we've built for 2 years. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
it's like that language we speak. So I'm like, it's hard to explain, but
I know what you mean, but it's so laser sharp.
Yeah.
Because everyone gets it.
exactly. And prior to that, you have to find those type of people to understand that too, which is very hard, you know. So that's one thing too. It's important on who you hire for business owners out there trying to looking for the best employees for the company. That's, you know, it's a characteristic you need to look out for.
Yeah.
But once you find that, it's crazy how laser sharp the communication is. You know, we can just knock things out and just outdo it better. And the more past experience you have on prior projects, we can relate to that. It's like, oh no, so we're gonna do it different from this thing. We need to, you know, angle it out this or edit it this way or whatever. You know, it just flows, man.
You know, one thing that you just mentioned too that like is so important, because as everyone's laser sharp, it allows you to start testing more. And like you were just talking about how you're like, you know, the director of also, I think you said media?
Yeah, media.
Mm-hmm. You know, and then it's like a constant game of like, you know, testing new things and then quickly being able to like analyze the performance, analyze if it's working, not reiterate, you know, and continue to keep moving. How often are you having those kind of meetings and testing new strategies?
Dude, all the time. Dude, our media team, I swear, we're just like on freaking 5 hour energy steroids, dude. Like we function so.
And by the way,
good.
guys, the first thing Randall did when I got here was like toss me a 5 hour energy. He's like, we live off this stuff, bro.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like Stacy, Miguel, and Alex and Jason, just the photographer, videographer, graphic designer, and media assistant. They all know their part too, and that's the thing too. These guys don't step on each other's toes, and they know
their lane, they know their role.
They know their lane, and they take constructive criticism very well.
Oh, that's
you know,
so
and
important.
they know their. Oh man, it's just so good.
Shout out to the squad at
Yeah,
LIVEFIT.
yeah.
You guys are really, really impressive. You're building something that's like world class, like my boy Peter always says. And you know, so I want to touch base on something else that I think you do so extremely well, which is the branding aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Both, if you can talk me through both how you've been able to, because this is something that I talk about a lot with, I call it social currency as a personal brand, but then also like it's totally different than when you have to focus on building a brand for the business and for your product. So it's, you know, how do you manage both of those, and how has the branding for both your personal and for your business been an intricate part to your success?
I think being like individual and standing out, and when I say that, it's because there's trends come and go, fashion and stuff, trends here and there, they come and go, but I tell our designers and media team all the time is that we need to stick with our core values from the very beginning. That's how skate brands last. You know, they don't care if, you know, everyone's making long tees, this, and this. They're going to stick with their core values.
Because people are buying into this.
Exactly. You want to get to a level to where you can sell a plain shirt with the logo on it, and then people are going to buy that because they know they affiliate with that brand.
Yep.
You know, that's the main goal. But it's hard to get there at first. You know, so it's just
Starts with those values.
starts with those values, starts with, you know, great aesthetics, looking designs, but it's all themed together. You know, we push a lot of skate, surf, and fitness. You know, merging those three Southern California lifestyle culture. You know, so a lot of designs have like beach aesthetics and stuff. At the same time, and then from there, building an organic, loyal following, you can kind of, you know, dictate, you know, what you're going to drop and how things are going to look, and you don't have to follow the trend because you're building a culture already. When you grow and your customers organically grow with you, you don't need to follow a trend. They're going to follow, you know.
And isn't that like, I feel like that's what social media has changed the game, because now you can actually let people into your world. They can see the process, and they just like, and they can bite into those values, they bite into your purpose, they bite into the team that's behind the scenes doing it, and it's like, yo, I really ride or die for this brand because I feel a part of it, and they feel like they're, you know, they're genuinely like a part of it rather than just like, hey, just buying something because it's cool. They're biting into that, you know, that those values, that culture, that brand, that brand stands for. And I think that's what we learned from like the Nikes of the world, right? The Apples of the world. Just do it, you know. And like the way that they've branded them, it's more than just their sneakers or the iPhone or the laptop. It's what the lifestyle behind it. I think you guys are doing it better than most that I've seen out there with the brand. And then your personal brand has been like on fire, dude.
Yeah, that's just something that came naturally too. You know, with social media, it made it a lot easier for me to be the forefront, and it worked. You know, it slowly built, but then once it built, it gained a lot of traction, and then now my personal brand is having a lot of engagement and stuff like that, and now I can branch off of that and do my own whatever I want.
What would be like maybe 3 key tips that you would give the audience right now if they're just launching their brand, whether personal or if it's if it's, let's say, like their first fashion company and they wanted to start building their social currency? What would be like 3 things that you learned that were like the key factor for people to start to, you build that loyal following?
I would say theme it out, and because I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs in person when I meet them at expos and stuff, and they ask me the same question. My thing is like, theme everything out. If you're gonna do a photo shoot, design, whatever, theme it. So when, let's say, you look at this photo and you look at this T-shirt, it doesn't have to necessarily say the brand on it, but that's LIVEFIT, that shot that, It has to be all themed first, because in the beginning, no one knows who you are yet. So you have to make everything very visually recognizable at first, So theme that way, then.
So figure out your theme, figure out, that what you want your aesthetic to really represent, so that it's consistent and people can start to recognize that theme, right? Okay, cool.
And then I would say have core values. I've never verged away from skateboarding, surfing, or fitness in general. We have a pro skater on the team now, and then with fitness, we have like the best fitness athletes on right now. We have Fanflex, Heidi. I can go on.
You got some dope entrepreneurs too. I'm gonna be an ambassador for LIVEFIT for life now, kid. But that's what's up. I agree with you. Your core values is everything, and that's what people, it'll separate the people that are the haters from the people that are gonna bite into for who you truly are, and that the authentic, genuine person, or like in the brand itself, you will start to attract the people for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons, for those core values. I think that's great advice. What's the last final one you would say?
The third one, this is probably going to be tricky, and this is one that I feel that this is what made me take off. I put my own core values in the stuff that I've experienced, which is the whole skate culture and whatnot, and I instill that within the brand. So I guess you can say the whole core values too as well, but my own personal vision into the brand, and that doesn't change, So it's always the same. I guess it gets back to theming and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain.
And then it all kind of comes together. So that's dope, man. So talk to me about this is a lot to manage though.
It is. I've seen brands fail because of that, because it's just too much to take in, or I've seen brands just stunt because they can't get past that
like ceiling.
Exactly. I have guys right now, they're working overtime. It's Sunday, and they're grinding. My customer service
Dude,
in here
it's
right
Sunday.
now.
His whole team is in here grinding.
Yeah. So, let's take in consideration for last year, Black Friday, we did 10,000 orders. Yep. 10,000 orders in one day.
Whoa.
10,000 orders. Cyber Money, 10,000 orders. We were swamped, okay? So we had to learn from that, figure this out. How are we going to get these damn orders out? It was crazy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so now that's why we're prepping.
Cyber Monday's coming up.
Yeah. So it's just learning from our own mistakes, and
So now you're a little bit more prepared for this Cyber Monday.
Exactly, and it's cool that when you have an organic following, they understand that, because we put it on social media. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't get your orders out in fucking 4 days. I have fucking 10,000 orders to do. I'm sorry. And dude, if you have a loyal following, they fucking understand, and that's the greatest thing about having an organic brand and cutting out the middleman.
Having them see the whole journey,
seeing the whole process. Even though right now we have like 120 retail accounts, that's only accounts for 1% of our total revenue. Our total revenue, or 98, is direct to consumer. It's fucking insane, and we do a shitload in retail stores.
Now you got it all, man. I mean, you got the great company, you got the dope whip. Congratulations on your engagement. You just bought a beautiful home. You take care of the people around you. What is next, and how do you look? How do you envision your next 10 years and how you will leave impact? As a leader.
Yeah, I feel like I can, like I said, relate to you as well. I have everything. I'm still continuing to work. I'm still growing brands and doing other ventures. But now that I feel like I just did this on my other video too. That I spoke on just now I feel like it's my duty, since there is social media now there's people like us telling
You actually have a voice now. It
we
makes
can actually have a
impact.
voice. You know, we can tell people that like I was lost like 15 years ago. When I had this same mindset, I feel like now I can fucking tell people like, dude, we're fucking right here. We're doing this shit too. You know, you're not alone. You know.
Yep.
So if I felt like if someone told me that shit earlier, fuck, it would have helped and it would have saved so much time.
Yes.
But now that, you know, we have social media, I feel it's part of my duty too as well, just like what you're doing, you know.
Yeah,
it's
man. So guys, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm grateful. This is amazing. The one and only Randall Pich, Live Fit. Guys, leaders create leaders. We out. Peace.
Ain't shit changed but the chain and a watch. We gon' make it rain, switch lanes in the drop. One red, one blue, like we came with the cops.